Let's talk about these injuries. Obviously, they were part of the huge story on Saturday. Braelin Moore got rolled up on the first play of the game. Then Trey'Dez Green in the second half had basically the same thing happen to him while he was blocking on a running play. And those were scary injuries. You see guys get rolled up, and you often fear the worst. For those that missed this earlier today, what we reported yesterday at LouisianaSports.net was also echoed by Brian Kelly today. Both Braelin Moore and Trey'Dez Green had MRIs on Sunday, and Brian Kelly called the results positive. Certainly they're injured, and that's a bummer, but it's not quote-unquote catastrophic. You're not going to have season-ending injuries here. Braelin Moore has an ankle issue. I think it's a sprain. Maybe a high ankle sprain, maybe not a high ankle sprain. Either way, he did not have the tightrope surgery, which would indicate the most severe high ankle sprain. He was in a walking boot on Saturday, and they're going to let him try to practice tomorrow. He's questionable for the game on Saturday. Trey'Dez Green has got a sprained MCL in his knee. He was on crutches on Saturday night. That is probably a little bit more serious than Braelin Moore's injury in terms of time missed. He's questionable for the game on Saturday as well. I would be shocked if he plays on Saturday. With Braelin Moore out, it's pretty obvious you go right to DJ Chester. That impacts your offensive line. I don't know any other way to say it. Braelin Moore is your best offensive lineman. He really played well against Clemson, and your offensive line is not as good if Braelin Moore is not in the middle of it. DJ Chester is experienced. It's not as if he hasn't played, and he went in there and handled himself okay on Saturday. But you need Braelin Moore back, and so you look at the timeline for LSU. If he doesn't play this week against Florida, like the next week is Southeastern, which no one needs to play, and then you've got Ole Miss before the bye week. So I feel like the target for Braelin Moore should be Ole Miss. Would I be shocked if he plays on Saturday? I would not be shocked. I don't know how severe the injury is. We don't know that. And it sounds like they're going to try to practice him, but I don't know that I would be in a hurry to do that in this game. And if he doesn't play against Florida, under no circumstance would I put him out there against Southeastern. Now, here's the deal. This is something I've had to learn in talking to players. We as fans, and certainly as folks that cover this, are thinking about the season as a whole and saying, hey, you don't need Braelin Moore to play against Southeastern. Like, just hold him out of that game, even if he feels okay. And the other side of that is these guys get up at 4 a.m. They run all summer in the heat. They grind through the long hours of fall camp. They're at study hall. They're at practice. They're at film. They're in rehab. They do so much stuff all year, and they've got 12 times to play. And if Braelin Moore is not healthy enough to go against Florida, but 7 days later, Southeastern comes to town and he is healthy, like, they're going to send him out there because you only get to play 12 times. So I wouldn't. I don't think it's in the best interest of LSU's goals to send him out there. But if he's healthy, he's going to play. So we'll see. I would hold him to Ole Miss. It sounded like from what Brian Kelly said today, they're going to target Florida, potentially Southeastern, and then Ole Miss would be the for sure answer there. But they need him back in the middle of that offensive line, and they need him back as quickly as he can get back. Trey'Dez Green's going to miss a little time, and you can't replace him. You cannot replace Trey'Dez Green. It's not possible because you don't have anybody else that's 6'7" that can jump like a basketball player. That person doesn't exist. You've got Bauer Sharp, who's physical and can help in the passing game. You've got Donovan Green, who transferred him to Texas A&M, who's a bigger frame, can help with blocking, and is functional in the passing game. He was Texas A&M's newcomer of the year in 2021. And those guys will handle the two tight end sets, and they're veterans, and they'll be fine. But you lose a significant mismatch. We have not seen the last of LSU going to Trey'Dez Green in a formation that really puts a lot of pressure on other defenses to deal with him. You saw it a bunch at Clemson. He got 2 pass interference calls, one set up a touchdown, one touchdown he scored later. Like, he's a problem. And you're going to see more of that. You didn't see it against Louisiana Tech, which brings into question, like, how vanilla were things on Saturday. But you don't have anybody that you can replace him with. Like, Nick Anderson brings some size, but I don't think you're going to take the Trey'Dez Green playbook with the 4 wide receivers right, Trey'Dez Green left, make them decide what they're going to do, and then throw in the lob. I don't think you're going to do that with Nick Anderson. But you need Trey'Dez Green to come back and be healthy. Braelin Moore can maybe play a little bit gimpy because he gives you something cerebral up front, and he's in a phone booth, and he's just got to be physical. And if he's a little bit gimpy on that ankle, fine. If Trey'Dez Green is not at 100% and can't jump like he normally does, can't run like he normally does, like he becomes less effective. And you've got so many pass catchers that are healthy that can do it. Like I don't think there's any reason to force the issue here. Brian Kelly said that Trey'Dez Green is questionable for the game and that maybe he could move to probable by the end of the week. We had a doctor from Auctioner on at the end of the hour. And Dr. Jeffrey Hogan told us, like, these can be 5-6 week injuries. Now, he is, I want to be clear again, not speaking directly about Trey'Dez Green. He is speaking in generalities about MCL sprains. So to me, I would suggest maybe South Carolina feels a little bit more doable for Trey'Dez Green. That would be 1 week off for Florida, 1 week off for Southeastern, 1 week off for Ole Miss, 1 week off for the bye, and then South Carolina. That would put you at 5 weeks. So he would miss Florida, Southeastern, and Ole Miss. But there remains to be seen what happens. I'm not going to speculate further on when those guys are going to come back. I'm just going to tell you what Brian Kelly said and what the doctor we had on said. The great news is no torn ACLs, no season-ending injuries. They're impactful players. Braelin Moore is your best offensive lineman, and Trey'Dez Green is your most dynamic tight end. No doubt. But you do have depth at those spots. You have last year's center who you don't have to move off the starting lineup spot. He just comes in and plays. And you've got two Sharp's a senior. Green is a junior. Donovan Green's a junior. And they're veterans and can play the tight end spot. So it does hurt. But when you were in the stadium on Saturday and you saw the way those guys left the field and what they had put on them with the boot on Moore and crutches on Green and a brace, it didn't look good. Did not look good. But what we reported on Sunday turned out to be true. Brian Kelly talked about it today, and it looks like those guys will return at some point in the coming weeks, which is obviously a very, very good news. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.